welcome to the Jeff Canada Show. But if you're going to get your feelings hurt, you might need to turn this shit off.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Jeff Canada Show. I have my friend Riggs, Andrew Riggs. I know him as Riggs. It's in my phone as Riggs Radio. What's up, man?
I'm glad we finally made this happen. We had to reschedule 3 or 4 times. And I kept feeling terrible. I was like, this guy's going to hate me. He's not going to want to have me back. But
I was actually today, when I text you, I was kind of hoping you would have been like, no, I need to reschedule again.
Really? And me, I was like, no, I'm there. I'm going to be there. I promise.
Yeah, I was sick all weekend. And then yesterday, today, I've been kind of mad at work, a madhouse at work. So it's been like, All right, cool, man. Well, just kind of introduce yourself and let everybody know what you do and who you are and why you're important.
The third part doesn't. I don't know why I'm important. I really don't.
I don't know why I'm important.
I wore the hat. I did the morning show for 93Q, country station here in town. Riggs, Caitlin, and Erica. It's a 3-person morning show. I took this position probably 3-4 years ago, maybe. I took it in December of 2022. I've been in radio my whole life, like 27 years now. So I started in high school in Indiana. We had a vocational program at our high school, which I think more schools should have, but we had one. So I would go to regular classes in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I would drive down to Indianapolis after going to Noblesville High School. And I would go to North Central High School in Indianapolis to a place called the J. Everett Light Career Center. J. Everett Light had automotive repair, welding, computer programming, nursing, welding, all sorts of programs. And on top of that, a radio TV program with a full functioning TV station and a full legit radio station with a tower. It had an FCC license and everything, covered the whole city of Indianapolis. So getting into radio, you have to have what's called an air check tape. So it's just basically, back in the day, it was a cassette deck that was in the studio. So every time I would cut on the microphone in between records or in between songs, I would talk, that was, this is, or whatever I was saying, and it would record just those moments and splice them all together, and then I would send that off to wherever I wanted to work. So you had to have that to get into radio so they knew what you sounded like. So the thing in radio is you can't get experience without a job, and you can't get the job without the experience. So I eliminated that my junior and senior year of high school by having all of this tape of me doing shows. So I would walk into a radio station at 18 years old and say, you have a job, let's go. And they would be like, nice try, kid. You got to have an air check. And I'd be like, which one? Here's a stack of tapes. So it was just banging on doors when I was 15, 16 years old and doing radio shows in my basement when I was 7 years old doing this kind of stuff. So I've just always loved being behind a microphone, always loved entertaining, always loved talking, always loved being part of the community, wherever I may be. So that's who I am, I guess. So I've been doing this for 27 years and it's taken me around the country. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Chattanooga, Tennessee, Gainesville, Florida, back to Indianapolis, Milwaukee, Wisconsin for most recently for about 13 years. And now Houston, Texas, 3 years strong, working on my agent's working on a contract for a new deal to keep me here for a little bit longer. I think they want to keep me around. So.
Hell yeah. So what time slot did you say you're on?
Mornings, 6 to 10.
6 to 10.
Morning. Yeah. We do the second date update. You familiar with second date update? Everybody knows that.
I don't. I don't listen to the radio.
Say it.
Well, we're gonna have that conversation today, my friend.
This is, by the way, radio is the only job where people will say that though. Like you wouldn't say that to anybody else.
I would. Yeah, I totally would.
You would? Okay, cool. Like I wouldn't tell a firefighter like, I just like to let things burn. That's cool though.
Well, I guess in that situation. But like I will tell somebody like if they're
work at the library.
Like an actor, like I'm an actor on this show. I'll be like, I don't watch that. And so,
yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? But you know me, I'm kind of blunt and honest.
No, I appreciate that
kind of guy. You know, most people think I'm an asshole, but I try not to be. I try to be a nice, caring, giving, loving fella. It just sometimes comes across as
assholes are assholes with reckless abandon, with no care for repercussions. I think there's a part of you that would care if somebody was genuinely hurt by something you said. I think
100%.
Yeah.
And you know,
I've like out of here.
Right.
To an extent, you would if they were jerks, but you have
not really. Not really, man. I don't really ever want anyone to be upset about something I say or do, and I will always be the first one to apologize. And even if I don't think I'm wrong, I will still be like, I'm sorry that that's the way it happened. I'm sorry that's the way it came out. It's not quite what I meant, or maybe I said it wrong. Maybe I apologize for the delivery. I started therapy. Woohoo! Hey, check that out again.
Did you
One of
really?
the Yeah, and one of the things we're working
Good.
through right now is, I'm kind of the king of I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I
Which is
mean?
good. Can be good.
But it's a mask. Really what it is, I care too much. That's the problem. The problem is I care too much about, like, even at my job, my company that I work for. I care too much about that job. I care too much about the music scene overall. I care too much about what happens to other artists. That's why I get into these kind of like bad situations when a venue screws over another artist. I will always I will share it and I'll fry the venue, right? Because I care about the industry. And so part of me's working on not caring so much, and part of me's working on picking my battles.
That's very important. You got to pick which battles because some battles aren't worth fighting.
100%.
A lot of them
Most
aren't.
battles, most
Most.
battles aren't worth fighting.
No.
So,
They're usually someone else's battles. They're already being fought. Just let them hash it out amongst themselves.
yeah, and the one thing that's kind of really helped me out, especially over this past year, because if you've noticed, I haven't really been involved in that much drama over the last year, is that it'll work itself out. If somebody's being a shithead, eventually you don't have to point it out. People will figure it out,
Yeah. I've
you know?
I've I've followed you on social media because when I first moved to Texas, I wanted to jump into the country music scene and start following people who had that country vibe to them, who played at local music. Because I know that's very important to the country listening audience. Is still that homegrown music. People that'll still play in the backyard. People who still play at bars and honky tonks. That's country music. That's Texas. That's Houston. I came across you, and I think I saw you at a show where you played with one of my buddies, Jarrett Ray Reddick.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's,
Love
from Bowling
Jared.
for Soup, a nice
Yeah.
guy. But I think what really piqued my interest with you has been probably in the last 6 months. You've been very open about mental health and suicide prevention, and openly admitting as a man in country music in Texas, saying that you go to therapy. I don't think you realize how big in and of that self that is for you to say as a man. So thank you for saying that because most men don't talk about that and they won't talk about that. And they're just like, I got this on my own because we're men, we're fixers. We want to fix everything on our own. We don't think we have to fix everything. And we're conditioned as men to think that we have to put everything on our shoulders and not show any emotion. Don't cry, do everything on your own and just deal with it and do it with a smile on your face. Nobody cares how you feel. It doesn't matter. You're the man, you're the provider. You have to do this. But it's not like that because it's okay to not be okay and it's okay to ask for help. Some of the best athletes in the world, the best musicians, have coaches, vocal coaches, conditioning and strength coaches. Why wouldn't you have someone with a coach for one of the most important organs of your body, your brain? So I commend you for that, and I really respect the hell out of you for owning it and for your birthday show, which I wish I could be at. By the way, I can't. I'm going to see my grandfather, but I love that you are dedicating that to suicide prevention, especially in a place where you live, because I know out Montgomery County, suicide rates and depression it's high out there. It's
Yeah,
big.
and the owner of the venue took his life. So, I'm
What
not
was
sure
his
if you
name?
heard Steve
Steve.
Syed. Yeah, he took his life. My kid works for the company and it's kind of a sad deal. And what's funny is I actually got into it with him about 4 or 5 months before he killed himself, and I canceled my birthday show there. He canceled it, and that's what we got into it about. And so I kind of roasted them online, on social media and stuff. And then he reached out. He felt really bad about it. He tried to apologize, and he tried to give me another date or tried to give me that date back. And I was like, nah, man, it's fine. Like I'll play where I'm wanted. And then, not too long after that, he took his life, and then, his wife, Joan, reached out to me and was like, "We feel really bad about what happened, and we would love for you to do this show, and we'd really love for you to do something around suicide prevention." And that's kind of always been it hasn't been just the last 6 months or so. It's kind of always been something I've been very outspoken about. I released my song "Monsters" back in 2020, and the music video they take my life at the end of the video, and that's what it's about, and it's a super, super powerful video. And that's also kind of where me and Jared don't really agree on a lot because he's super positive about everything. He's annoyingly positive about a lot,
Yeah,
but
that's good.
he's also, he struggled with mental health himself, and he's a super big mental health advocate. And I love the dude, man. And I'm just talking smack. I mean, he's fantastic. I love him. He's great. And he's actually kind of reached out to me a couple times and told me to chill out, or gave me kind of like an honest feedback. And that's what I love about the music community, is that there are some people that will call you on your bullshit, but not in like a attack or anything like that. It's more of like a, man, I love you, bro, and I don't want you to be upset, and just let it roll off your back. And so I'm glad that Jarrett has done that a couple times, and
Yeah,
I've had a few other people do that. And that's what's really cool about how tight knit the Texas music community is,
sure.
And I don't know
Yeah,
if it's like that all over everywhere else, but in Texas, it's pretty tight knit.
that's good. The local music scene in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it was kind of like that. You had your younger bands. It wasn't really country. It was more like your pop rock, your punk rock, your hip hop acts, and things like that. I never really got into country music until I got to Texas. Honestly,
Mhm. Yeah.
this has really been my first jump into country from a radio standpoint. I've always done top 40 my whole life.
Yeah.
So it's always been Lady Gaga and Maroon 5 and all that stuff.
So
It's
the same stuff you are playing now, just with
pretty
the
much,
country twang.
yeah, we just still
So
play the shit out of it.
I want to kind of give you props because you're kind of coming behind enemy lines here. Not because obviously you're a cool dude, a great personality. You and I've had some cool conversations, but are y'all the first? Is 93 Country the first or second largest radio station?
93Q by Cume, which is the amount of people that listen, is the most listened to country radio station in the United States of America.
Oh, so it's bigger
Yeah.
than the Bull then.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but yes.
Bull 100.3 the Bull. Oh, you
What?
can't talk about it. I got it. Never mind.
No,
My
I mean,
bad.
I can. That's my joke. I'm like, who? What?
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
acknowledge competition. I don't want people to lose jobs, and I know there's room for two country stations in a market the
Oh,
size of
yeah.
Houston, Texas, of course. I keep my eyes on the prize and keep humming along because I don't want you to take food off my table at the end of the day. So
For sure. Right. Well, I'm decent friends with Nick Russo, and I'm really good friends with Zach United over there.
Nick is a good guy. I know him very well.
Yeah. And they play my music. They play my music from time to time on like the Sunday
I know where this is going.
whatever show. No. I'm actually quite ecstatic that I don't get played on the radio. To be honest with you, I kind of take it as a badge of honor.
Really?
I gave up the radio thing. I tried the small market radio thing with all the little radio promoters and all that stuff, and it's just such a racket that I'm like, I'm not doing that. I think the only way for radio to really affect your career is if you're doing national pushes,
For sure.
where you're
Um,
paying $50 to $500,000 to
Yeah.
do radio pushes with radio promoters, as opposed to paying $5,000 to do to like the. And I think let's talk about that for a second, because that's the thing that I don't think the general public understands.
No.
They think radio, chart, doesn't matter, blah, 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 radio. So there's Nielsen rated radio stations, right? Those are the big ones. Those are 93 Country, the Bull, the Buzz here in Houston.
Yeah.
I don't even know what radio stations are anymore, but
We got 97.9 The Box, Magic 102.1. Those are a couple of
Yeah.
our stations. So yeah.
and to get
Well,
on those radio stations,
Yeah.
you have to hire. First of all, you pretty much have to be on a label. It's very, very difficult to do that on an independent level. You have to hire a radio promoter, which, like I said, can be anywhere from $50,000 to $500,000. Really, right? I mean, I don't even know if you know, but
Well, hey, I'll speak to this afterwards. My wife works for a label. She's been a record label exec for 20, 30 years. So
There you
that's how
go.
we met. She's the manager of marketing. It's called Trident Media and Marketing and Promotion. So they manage artists, they market artists, they promote artists, they have booking agents. They're kind of a full service, one stop shop for what you're talking about. So you go ahead. I can.
but for the big cats, right?
No. They're much smaller. So they work
Okay,
with
cool.
a smaller up and coming artist. They work with a younger artist. Her name is Shab. They work with a guy named Sam Bettis, another girl named Sarah Moots, a lot of younger up and coming artists that are trying to get onto the radio. And I watched this whole thing happen, them getting this one woman, her name is Shab. She's never had a song on the radio, but I watched my wife and her team grind, and they're calling radio stations. There's money behind this. There's relationships behind this. There's a lot of ammunition that goes behind getting a song on the radio. I've been a program director too, so I've been in charge of all the songs that are played on the radio. When I was in Chattanooga, I programmed for 5 years for a top 40 station. So I know what it's like to get the songs from guys like you, where I'm like, this is a good song, this is a good dude, this is a good girl, I love this song, but I'm also beholden. I have to report to corporate bullshit up above me that's saying you can only play these top 40 songs. You can only play X amount of recurrence. You have to play them this many of times per year. You can't play new music. It's unfamiliar. People don't know it. They'll tune out, which I don't understand why people would tune out new music. I always lean into new music personally as a music lover, but
Well,
this
I can
corporate
answer that
thing of
question.
what?
I can answer that one.
Yeah.
We have, thanks to, so I had Joe Kelly on here last week. You know Joe Kelly?
I know Joe Kelly is a very common radio name, so I do know
So-
a Joe Kelly.
Oh,
So
well, Joe Kelly works, he's in Nashville. He owns CDX, the CDX Nashville, the record label, and he also, you know, distribution and all that stuff. He's the one that kind of architected the digital fingerprint and all that stuff. And he's very, very connected in the Nashville scene, and we had a lot of conversation around the whatever. I got a social media clip gonna post here pretty soon, but it's about the Media Act of whatever 19 whatever got signed in the law, saying that no radio station, no company can own more than so many radio stations across the United States. And then when Bill Clinton was in office, he signed the new thing that made it where that went crazy. So that's when Clear Channel came up, and Odyssey, and I'm not sure who owns 93 Country, iHeartRadio, those things, you know, they all came and they kind of took over and monopolized the radio play side of things, which then made the record labels have to play more, like have to play ball more with those companies as opposed to the more independent, smaller labels and such. And so that's kind of where we are. And that's kind of what started the whole thing of devaluing music.
yeah,
And that's kind of where we are now, where most people, the general public, the majority of people, they don't listen to a song to listen to a song. They listen to a song because it's in the background. They're at the gym, they're driving down the road, they're at the grocery store, they're, you know, it's playing at the bar they're at. So go blah, 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 blah. There's music all the time being played, and they're consuming it for free. So it's completely devalued music. And that's where we are right now with the industry. And I'll argue that with anyone. I think if you're at a certain level where you're selling out, you know, where you're selling 30,000 tickets, you're fine. But I think to get from selling 100 tickets to selling 5,000 tickets, that jump is way harder than what it was before, you know,
100%. Because there's way more options. Back in
right.
the day, you had radio, and you had CDs and tapes, and you had the record store, and that was how you discovered music. Now you've got, God,
And everything's
Spotify.
just at your hands. You know, we talked about
Everything.
like, you know, used to, if you wanted to go see a live show, like not, and I'm not talking about just like a random club. I'm talking about like Morgan Wallen, the biggest, y'all probably play him 9,000 times a day.
God.
So just if you take Morgan Wallen, for example, what you used to have to do is if you wanted to go to a Morgan Wallen show, you'd have to go down to Sam Goody or one of these outlets that sold tickets. You'd have to stand in line, and you have to get in line hours ahead of time. You'd have to stand there. And sometimes you could be the third or fourth person in line and not even get tickets. Like that happened to me in 1995. Me and my buddy, we went down, we wanted pit tickets for Bush. It was Bush, No Doubt, and the Goo Goo Dolls. It was 1995. I'm like 15 or 16 years old. And 14, 15 years old. And we go down there and we stand in line. We were the second person in line, and we got the last 2 floor tickets. So that, and then if you didn't get one of those tickets, you had to just go down the night of the venue and hopefully find a scalper.
Yeah.
So in order to go to the show, there was a whole list of events that you had to go through to go to that show. So you made damn sure when you you went to that show. Where now it's like you order the tickets online. If they don't have them direct, you can go to StubHub and you can go to all these other third-party places. And then the day of the show, you can Uber there, or you don't have, you know what I mean? It's like everything is just so much easier and it's at your hand.
Is it me, or do shows get announced way further in advance now? Like back then, I remember you would go to a show and it was like, when are they coming? Next month. Let's go. Now it's like, when is Luke Combs coming? June of 2027. And you're like, oh, fuck, well, that's next year. And I got to get tickets now.
That's because we were diehard fans of those bands. Like nowadays, you don't have, I mean, you have fans, right? But if you're at a show, like let's just take like Cody Johnson, for example, obviously one of the biggest country, like rising country stars there are out there. I mean, I think he'll be up at the top pretty quick if he's not already. But like, let's just take a venue that has 40,000 people, right? How many people of those 40,000 people are going to just sit there and hang on to every word he says? I would be willing to bet. I'd be willing to bet it's less than 10%.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have the people that know some of his more popular songs. They're going to be like into those songs. And you have the other people that are going on a date, or their boss gave them tickets, or what, you know what I mean? And this is not in any way saying anything negative about Cody Johnson. It's just the way it is these days. And so you got a guy like Morgan Wallen. He releases a record that has 50,000 songs on it. He has 5 #1 hits off that. Well, guess what? Next time he goes on tour, everybody knows all of his songs. He doesn't have to go up there and play. He play 1 or 2 new songs a show, maybe one, because he has to answer those labels just like you have to answer to your bosses.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not knocking. I've never knocked radio at all. Like, you play what you want to play. Where I get into it is these small market radio promoters. That's where I have my issues. The ripoff artists.
There's money involved there too on those shady deals that they go on, I'm sure, that are not supposed to go on anymore.
For sure.
But it still goes on. It's still very legal. There was the thing back in the day where there was record labels were paying for play. It was pay for play, payola.
Payola.
We signed contracts. I signed something that's saying I won't do payola, I won't do plugola. Now, it's different if Busch Light wants to have me, they want to pay me to advertise, and I'm going to talk about Busch Light, and I'm compensated for it. It's in a commercial. It's very clearly a paid advertisement. That's different. That's disclosed. That's upfront. But if Busch Light calls me on my cell phone, they go, hey, why don't you talk about us on the radio, and we'll send you a check for $500. And I'm like, okay, that's where it becomes shady. It's not disclosed. It's not said to the general public why we are doing that. But it still goes on to this date in the record industry, because they have independent promoters now who are paid by the ad. So when a radio station will add a song, that independent promoter will get paid X amount of dollars. And then that independent promoter calls the radio station and says, hey, you're going to add the Jeff Canada song. Well, I got $4,000 to spend. Let's buy you some t-shirts. Let's send some listeners somewhere. Let's do some fun shit, which sounds cool. And you're like, yeah, of course you can do that. But now I'm not playing Jeff Canada's song because it's a good song. I'm playing it because I'm getting $4,000 to send people to Jamaica or whatever. I don't care about the song. I care about the money that I'm getting. And that devalues the music even more, like you're saying, which is terrible. So you're right. Yeah. Music has been devalued a lot. And
it's completely been devalued. I mean, on every aspect. It's on every level.
Does that make you feel like your music is less valuable as an artist?
No. And let me tell you why. Because I don't put out my music for other people.
Good.
Anymore. Like, I'm not, I think there's 2 types of artists out there. I wouldn't even say there's 2 types of artists. I think there's 2 types of performers out there. There's the ones that are chasing fame, right? And there's the one that are trying to feed their soul, right? Like, guys like me, like, I have to do this. Like, I have to play shows. I have to write songs. I will not, I couldn't live without it. I could not. I would swallow a bullet tomorrow if I got to where I couldn't write, right? There's a lot of folks out there that are out there chasing fame that it doesn't matter what vehicle they get the fame from. as long as they get the fame. So it's like, I know musicians that started out being artists or in cutting other people's songs, and then they're not even doing that. Now they're just influencers on social media because they're making more money on social media. Where me, it's like, I've proven that I can go viral. I just went viral, over 15 million views on a video. But to me, it's not about that, because there's nothing on the other end of that. There's nothing that does not equate asses and seats. And if you want to feed my soul, it's asses and seats, and it's real fans. Not, I don't, like, I'm the kind of guy that would want to put on a show, and I don't want to see all the cell phone lights out there. What I want is those cell phones going in a bag and you can't be on it the whole show. That's what I want, because I'm an artist. I'm a true artist. I'm not up there chasing the fame and chasing the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, and then it's a shame when people are like that. Well, what can I have my cell phone? Well, what can it? There was a time when you would go to a show and you would enjoy the show. You would just enjoy it. Maybe you'd go off and have a drink with somebody. You might wander off, have a conversation, and not really pay attention. But you were there and you were living in the moment. You were distracted by what was going on, what somebody else was doing, what somebody else was eating. If you told me in 1995 that I would have to give a shit about what the fuck somebody's eating while I'm at a Limp Bizkit concert, I'd be like, what? We're doing this in 2025? Yeah. People are sitting there scrolling through their feed while their favorite artist that they paid hundreds of dollars to see is right in front of their face.
Yeah,
Shut
and
up.
if you're gonna watch it on your phone, just go watch his live show on YouTube. You don't have to be there. Now, I'm glad they're going, right?
Sure.
And I think that's the big deal when I say live music is dead, right? When I say the music industry is fucked, when I say it's dead, I'm not saying that it's dead for everybody. That's not what I'm saying, right? But really, this is not a radio problem. This is not a music problem. This is not a music industry problem. This is a society problem. This is, if you look at every aspect of society, everything is fucked. Everything. like from the
You're so
school. It's, I'm a realist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not pessimistic about it. I'm just a realist about it, because when you just look at every aspect of society, everything is so fucked. Like, social media is so screwed right now, because of these algorithms that push, because they started giving you what you want. That's what they started doing. Like, TikTok came on board, and instead of followers, what they started doing is they started pushing it out to people, and however they react to it, they push out to more people. And then after a while of using it, they know who likes what. So a little something for you guys, if you're listening out there, if you're tired of watching, if you're a far right-wing person and you're tired of watching crazy far left-wing people, stop watching the videos. As soon as you see one, go. Because what happens is, as soon as you watch that one video, they're going to send you more videos just like that.
He watched this all the way through. He wants more. Here's more.
Exactly. And then what that does, that creates massive echo chambers. Right. And that's where we're at right now with society. So you have the far left thinks everyone on the right is insane, right? Or racist or whatever. The far right thinks everyone on the left is insane. But if you're not watching those crazy things, and you're somebody like me that lives in the center and you know people on both sides, I know people that voted for Joe Biden, or not Joe Biden, but Kamala Harris, that are good, decent, intelligent people. And I know people that voted for Trump that are good, decent, intelligent people. I also know people that voted for Kamala that are total
idiots,
left-wing lunatics. And I also know people that voted for Trump that are right-wing, almost KKK people. You know what I mean? So, like, yes, those fringes exist, but they're not the majority of us. But if you look on social media, they are. And so and that's what I mean. It's not a music industry problem. It's not just our industry. It's just society right now. And hopefully something happens and we get back to normal somehow.
It's going to take a seismic shift, man, because it's pretty wrecked, and AI is making it worse.
Yeah, and AI is only going to make it worse. Are you guys? Let's talk about AI for a minute. Are you guys? Are the radio stations putting up any type of guardrails against AI music?
Music, no, Not that we've really had. I've used AI a couple times just to make goofy songs, like about mosquitoes in the summertime and just goofy shit that I just want to jingle for something. I can use AI for
Yeah.
that. Just for dumb things. I use AI to help move my day along a little bit better.
Yeah, me
There's
too.
so
I use
much
it every
news I
day.
have to consume.
Yeah.
There's so many different stories that we talk about on the air, so many different angles that we can take, perspectives that we can take. It's great to have something out there that you can use to sift through all the information. I can feed it an article and I can say, hey, now I do double check it, because sometimes it goes rogue and it's like, oh, it made a woman a man. It decided all of a sudden that the person shot somebody in the story. I'm like, why are you just adding things in? And I call it out. I'm like, why are you doing this? And it's like,
I do too.
you're right to call me out. Thank you.
It does say that. It just happened to me yesterday. And AI is a great tool. Like, you
Sure.
use AI and use the tools. Like, anybody that's saying not to use AI at all is just not living in the real world, right?
So
That's
the
like
people,
saying don't use air conditioner.
those are the
You
people
know what
that
I
said
mean?
streaming isn't gonna. We're not gonna stream. It's never gonna be a thing. I'm always gonna have my CDs. Yeah, well, you are, and we're gonna have physical music, but now streaming's a thing. You know,
Well, and that's another big part of part of the problem with music being devalued.
yeah,
You know, and the thing that I always say is, imagine if every restaurant out there, every restaurant, no matter what, whether they were Michelin rated 5-star, whatever it is, or if it's Arby's, if every restaurant out there, you paid a monthly fee, right? And then you could turn around and go to as many restaurants as you want to just for that fee. You never had to pay a tip, and you never had to, um, you that's it. You could go to those restaurants.
you didn't even have to finish your food. You could just order it and leave.
Eventually, everything's going to be a McDonald's, because no one is going to invest money and make it a 5-star restaurant or try to get a Michelin star or worry about reviews or any of that stuff if they're all you know what I mean? You're making the same amount. So that's basically what we did with music. We basically said, okay, it doesn't matter if it cost you, you know, a year of your life to write this song or this album, and you spent $10,000 on the song and video and all this stuff, or if you did it in your basement for free and you didn't do shit. Like, but the same people pay the same price to hear that music, no matter what. The quality of music is gonna go down. Period. It's like that. There's no way to keep that from happening. But I do think what's really cool is, I think a lot of us real artists, right? I'm not talking about entertainers. I'm not talking about performers. I'm talking about like real singer, songwriter, people that we want to play our own songs. We're most of us are tired of it, and most of us are not playing the game anymore. Most of us, like, I still put my stuff on Spotify, but I can't even, like, I can't even log into where I look at all the metrics and stuff. I haven't logged into it in 3-4 months. I just don't care. Like, because it doesn't, it's, it's vanity metric, and it doesn't mean anything,
Yeah,
you know?
you care about the people you see, that you make the connection with at a day to day basis, on a show. People that
Yeah.
show up, people that see you in public, people that come to your shows, people that probably still interact with you on your social media channels. Those are the people that matter
Yeah.
to you, because those are the
You know,
people that are engaging with you.
I got to the point where I don't even listen to music that's not from someone I don't know.
Say that again.
I don't listen on a regular basis to any music from anyone that I don't personally have some sort of a connection with.
Really? Okay.
I won't. I mean, there's a few out there. I'll still listen to Jason Isbell. I'll still listen to, there's a few out there, but I don't listen to anyone that I don't have a gateway to some way, shape, or form
That
anymore,
makes sense. Yeah.
because it's personal for me. It really is. The connection with that person is personal. Now, when I say that, it doesn't mean I have to know them personally. Like, let me back up. For 1 hour a day for at least 4 years, I listened to music I'd never heard before. Okay? I would just go down a rabbit hole, either on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, and I would go and I would listen. And then if it was a song that really moved me, I would immediately follow that artist on Instagram, and then I would send them a message and say, or I'd make a post about it and tag them, or some way to open up some sort of a communication with those artist spotlights that you've seen me do. That was kind of that way, and because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a connection with this artist, right? Because for networking, you never know when you're going to become friends and you're going to get shows and you're going to give shows and they're going to come on podcasts and all of that stuff. It's for networking, but also music is very, very personal to me. It's very, very personal to me. And so, back in the day, I would have like Pearl Jam is my all-time favorite band of all time, all time, all time. But when a new album would come out, you would go to the store, you'd buy the CD, you would open it up, you would smell you know what I mean? You would like read the lyrics and like
Feel that
you
little
would,
thing off the top.
yeah. And like Guitar World magazine would come out and they would be on the cover and you would buy that episode so you can dive in and read the interviews and you would really you would try to find out as much as you can about the artist. And because you were a fan, like fan is short for fanatic, right?
Yeah.
Fanatical, fanatic. That's what a fan is. A fan is not someone who just shows up to your show and is there just to be there. Like a fan is someone who is, man, they need you in their life. Like
You
they'd
feed
be
each other's
sad.
souls as a fan. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think now we know everything about everybody. Everybody's at our fingertips, but that's what I would do. I would start those connections. And that's why I got so many people, and my network was so huge because I was constantly just reaching out. And because if somebody wrote a song that was very special, I would want to know, like, eventually I want to get a conversation. Like, what were you thinking when you were writing this?
I'm sure they appreciate that as much as you would probably appreciate somebody being like, "Hey, I was just strumming through. I saw your music. I'm a big fan. I love your stuff. Check out this guy, Jeff Canada, out of Texas, Montgomery
Yeah.
County. Great guy. Where do you live, by
Yeah.
the way? What part of Texas?
In Montgomery County. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Close to Conroe. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? That's why to me, that's what music is. Like music is art, right? And it should be consumed and it should be respected, right?
Yeah.
And it should be loved.
I think that's what got me into radio is my love for music. I was the same way as you were. One of my favorite bands. I love 90s alt rock grunge stuff like Fuel, Stone Temple Pilots, Creed, Limp Bizkit. I bought tickets to see Limp Bizkit and Creed in Chicago this summer. I can't wait.
I got to play a show with Scott Stapp.
You did?
2 years ago. Yeah.
That's great.
Them and Tonic.
Tonic too? That's great. But I think I fell in love with music and I fell in love with listening to the radio. And I would call these DJs up and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" And they'd be like, "What do you mean, what are you doing?" And I was like, "No, like, there's a song playing. What are you doing?" They were like, "I'm thinking about what I'm going to play. I'm talking to you. I got to go take a shit," whatever they were doing. And I was fascinated that there was someone there that could take music and say, "Hey, everybody, check this out. Listen to this music." And you could see how it would feed an audience, how it would feed a community, and how you would put asses in shares. I mean, I was working at radio stations where we do Christmas shows. We just did a show, Star Party with 93Q. We have decent artists that come out for it. This year we had Turnpike Troubadours came out. We had Riley Green and just artists like this that would play on the radio, and to promote it and give away the tickets, and then just to see it all come full circle and seeing people showing up and they're singing every word and I'm taking pictures with them. Selfishly, there's some ego to it. I'm sure you have it as well. We all do. You're an artist. I'm an artist. Two away. I mean, how I talk and I craft a show with Caitlin and Erica every morning. I'm an artist as well. We feed on that. We feed on knowing that we've made a connection with somebody. I love when I'm in a grocery store and somebody comes up and we're like, "Are you Riggs? I
Yeah.
listen to you guys." Like, I listened to Second Date Update. That was great. My wife and I were in Fredericksburg, Texas, and some guy stopped us at this restaurant called Heel and Vine. We're just standing in the lobby, and this guy goes, "Riggs, I was a Star Party." And I'm like, I love that connection that I can make with people. And I love that I have the connection with them on a personal level now. And I know that we both have that bond of music because we both have that passion for the music that we play. So I love how music can still, I know it's watered down and I know it's, like you said, it's been devalued, but it still has a place in everybody's heart. Everybody has a favorite song. Everybody has a favorite band. Everybody has that one song that they'll do karaoke to, the song you know every word to that still hits you, the song that still makes you cry, the song that makes you angry, the song that reminds you of an ex. music is emotion. It's passion. It's great. And I think I wanted to be able to deliver that to people somehow, but I didn't have the talent to write it and produce it and sing it and drum it or anything like that. I mean, I played, guitar a little bit, play the trumpet when I can, but I can still help people get that music that they want to hear, even if it is a song that has been corporately played or corporately programmed. I can still find ways around that music to make it exciting and to make the experience that people are listening to just a little bit more fun, and
Well,
it's something
listen,
cool throughout the day.
it's not like the stuff you are playing sucks. Like
No,
that's where I differ from a lot of people that are more independent or more Texas artists.
we play it too
Like
much.
Morgan Wallen does not suck. Like he
Yeah.
just doesn't. I mean, he's a decent songwriter. He's got a. I mean, I think live he sounds pretty good, but I think the radio. I, I I have
Yeah.
a conspiracy theory. To be honest with you, I have a conspiracy theory, and I talked to Joe Kelly about this last week, and that is that they've put Morgan Wallen where Morgan Wallen is to get everyone ready to accept AI music because I think his voice sounds AI. That's
Uh,
that's my conspiracy theory. I'm full of shit, but that's my little that's my tinfoil hat conspiracy is that they all knew this was coming and he was the predecessor of it. Um,
I
now
love putting
also
on a tinfoil hat, man. That's great.
obviously I'm joking around, but
Sure.
um,
It's a good
it doesn't
conspiracy.
suck. It's good music. It sounds good. It's got a good beat. Um, you know, I don't understand how some of it's called country, but that's also kind of like the get off my lawn guy. Times change and the nobody's making music like the Beatles anymore either. So um, I'm more of a fan of but I'm not a huge fan of 90s country either. I'm not a huge fan of really most what would be considered pop country through all the decades. I'm more of a fan of Americana stuff. I'm more of a fan of the B side for Chris Christopherson and Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash than I am the ones that were popular, but that's just because I'm the black sheep guy that doesn't like anything popular.
And you're
You
an
know?
artist too, and you appreciate all this. You
Yeah.
appreciate all of the music, the entire catalog, as opposed to the radio singles, the one that everybody knows.
Yeah. Like I get mad like if I'm listening to the radio for some reason and like the Buzz, for example. Every now and then I'll just go on like this nostalgia thing and I'll throw on the Buzz. And because the Buzz is still playing stuff, like their playlist has not changed a whole hell of a lot in the last 15 years.
No, they're
And
pretty
so
good.
like Cumbersome will come on.
Seven
Right.
Mary 3.
And then like I'll be ready for the next song that's on that record because I've listened to that album so many times. I know how that record goes. And then I'm disappointed because it's a
What was after
saving
that?
Abel.
Lucky wasn't on that. Lucky was deeper in the album. That album.
Lucky was on their second record. Lucky was on
Wasn't on American Standard.
no, that was on American Standard. American Standard had Cumbersome and Water's Edge. Those were the two hits.
Water's Edge. That's the song I was thinking.
Lucky was off their second record. I actually have a cover of that on Spotify. That's
Great song.
That's really you should if you haven't heard it, you should check it out. It's pretty rad. I think I paid homage to the real
Okay,
version.
I'll check it
But
out.
they're trying to tour again, and they just started an Instagram, and I messaged them because I want to play with them.
You should.
I'm a huge fan, dude. Yeah. So let's talk real quick. Let's get back to radio. How hard is it not to cuss? And
Not
do you
hard
have
at all.
do you have any slip up stories?
I have a couple times. Once in Wisconsin when I was in Milwaukee, I dropped an F-bomb once, and it was very casual. And we have a dump button, so we can easily remove it. It's basically the dump button works like you ever been watching TV? You know how a dump button works?
Yeah. It's like 15 seconds ahead or something.
8. Yeah, ours is 8.
Yeah.
So basically, when you say "fuck," I hit the
You're like,
dump
"Oh."
button. Then it goes
Yeah.
back 8 seconds and clips the audio. So anybody listening, doesn't sound like anything happened. Maybe a little blip. But we were just having a conversation, and I was like, "Yeah, no, it's fucking crazy." And I was like, "Ugh." It happened once, and we caught it, and my boss heard it. But he accredited it to how comfortable I was with my job. He goes, "That's actually a good sign because you're so comfortable in what you're doing that you forget that you're on the radio, that you're just having a normal, natural conversation, which is hard for a lot of people to do." Even in this situation, people are like, "All right, I need to talk to an announcer," or they'll talk at you instead of talking to you, which is really weird. Like, "Here's the song coming up." Nobody wants to hear you yell at me. Like, talk to
Yeah.
me. So I think it was a testament to just me being very comfortable. But I have what's called my grandma filter. I think I kind of coined that term because I can say a lot of loose lip stuff around both of my grandmothers. They're both still alive. God bless them. But I know when it's time to kind of stop. I can get up to that line, and I know what I can say and what I can't. So it's not that difficult once your life is on, your job's on the line. I've got a million people listening to me with this microphone right now. So it's a bigger responsibility in a city like Houston where there's even more people listening.
Yeah.
You drop an F-bomb in Lafayette, Indiana. It's the end of the world. No. Houston on a country station. I've got some Bible beaters that are mad at me and this heathen on the radio. He said the F word. I'm like, motherfucker, you've said it several times, so why don't you chill out? So
yeah, I'm one of those guys. I'm better about it now. Like I just had John Brennan on the podcast. He was a cast member in season 2 of The Real World.
Okay.
And but he's super religious, he's like, and I don't think I said a single foul word the whole podcast. It was more of just like a respect thing. Not that he asked me not to, and I may have slipped up once or twice, but I was impressed with myself for that.
Yeah.
And and I've been on tons of radio interviews and I've never had an issue. There was an issue with the Walton and Johnson show. They wanted me to send them a song that I had just written or just released, and it had the word bullshit in it. And I didn't, and I sent it not thinking about anything, and they actually didn't check it, and they played it, and it didn't get dumped, and it actually bullshit went across the. I mean, but I guess that's not.
There's a Tucker Wedmore song called "Wind Up Missing You" is his first song that we played it, and there's a song in there that's like that said something about that dumb shit. We played it on the air, and I remember hearing it. I was like, "Did he say shit?" And nobody caught it because he just kind of it was very melodic how he did it, and he caught it with a little slap of the guitar, so you couldn't really hear it, but it was enough to go, you should probably edit that shit out.
Yeah, I had a song on the Bull early on, but Nick was playing it, like he was actually playing it, a couple times a day, 3 or 4 times a day. It was actually on the rotation. It was called Too Far Gone, and it had the word cocaine in it, and he did a little edit, a radio edit of the word cocaine, and I was like, oh, it's so stupid. But whatever. I mean, it's cool. I'm glad, Nick's always supported my career, so I have nothing but love for Nick.
I always found it funny how they choose what songs to edit or what words to edit out,
Yeah.
Like I've heard like you can't say weed or blunt, but then I can play Usher and Little John, bend over to the front, touch your toes, back that ass up and down.
It's,
That's whiter than what's spilling down her throat. That was in a song called, God.
God dang.
Yeah, it was a Snoop Dogg, Drop It Like It's Hot. That's
yeah.
whiter than what's spilling down her throat. The actual words of the song that we played.
But it didn't say.
They bleeped out weed, though. I was like, you can't say weed, but that's whiter than what's spilling down her throat is okay. Who's in charge of this? It's not milk. It's not yogurt. You know damn well what that white stuff is down her throat.
Oh, that's so funny. But most people probably don't pick up on that. And
then it like goes back to what you said, how people do passively listen. So you've got that working in your favor. So if I do drop a curse word sometimes, I don't think it would be the end of the world, but it's not hard to not swear.
Yeah. Where it's getting me is at work, at my job.
What is your industry that you work in?
So I just now started doing marketing for one of my friends' company, or a few of my friends' companies, and so it's marketing. So I'm doing all his social media, his website, SEO, all that stuff, all the stuff that I've been doing for myself for the last 20 years. I'm now doing, getting paid to do it, and but like it's an auto. He has some auto shops, and I'll go in the auto shops to do some filming, and sometimes I'll be in the office and I'll be like, fuck, or whatever. And then there's customers in the waiting room. And so I'm like having to really, really like catch myself. I'm getting better about it.
That's good.
But it's hard because I've been so uncensored for so long.
Yeah.
I don't change what I do for anybody.
No, I've been dabbling in the stand-up comedy world here in Houston.
Nice.
And that's another arena where I don't feel, I feel like you can overuse swear words. Like if the word fuck makes your joke funny, it's not a funny joke. unless
I don't know.
very rarely. But if you have
Yeah.
to swear to make something funny, I think you can be better than that. You can challenge yourself to I can challenge myself to not have to use profanity. And it's not that I
Yeah.
don't want to or I'm a prude or anything. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to go for a more cerebral joke. Have a little more fun with this one instead of dropping an F bomb.
That's funny because there's two schools of thoughts. I've heard studies both ways about people that curse a lot are more intelligent than people that don't. I've also heard studies that, people that don't use them, it's because they find smarter ways to get around it. You know what, man? You find a study to support anything you believe, really.
You really can. It's called confirmation bias.
Yeah. 57% of all statistics are made up.
13% of people know that.
Speaking of AI, I just got this AI camera in it. Like,
I was wondering what
follow,
that was. That was
follows me around. I like to
mine.
freak out.
Mine just shakes if I hit my desk because it's on a laptop stand.
Yeah, that's funny. That's so funny. So 93Q Country used to do, was it the 10-man jam they used to do?
No,
Or is that
that's Bull. Bull's
that's the
done that.
Bull?
Bull's done 10 Man Jam. They've done that for like 25 years, which is huge. by the
93Q
way.
Country used to do a music festival.
Yeah, I think we did. We used to do up close and personal concerts. We used to do those. They did a lot before I got there. I mean, this station's pretty legendary in the market. I mean, it's up there with the Bull. Bull was killed
Yeah.
for a while. They've both been around forever. I mean, Cactus Jack, the guys that run before me, Kevin and Tim, like those guys run the station forever. Legends in the market. So,
Yeah, growing up, those are those stations with KLT, KIKK. So 93Q Country used to be KLT, right?
no, KLT is Bull.
The Bull. Okay.
Bull, yeah.
What was
They used to be
93Q
killed.
Country was something before that one.
KQBQ, it was, I think it was a top 40 station before, but
I
it's
can't
been
remember.
it's been a good 20 years. So it's
Oh yeah,
been a
it's
while.
yeah. They're definitely a staple
Yeah.
in the area. So with radio, do you guys sell y'all's own ads, or do y'all have like a sales?
We have a sales team.
You have a sales team, but then you get to sell your own ads too. Yeah.
I can't. I mean, I probably could if I wanted to.
Gotcha.
When I was somebody and did that, I could probably find a way to strum up some commission. I think
Yeah.
I think my agent's trying to work with that, so I can do that now in my new contract, which would be great. But quite honestly, I would rather just go and kind of help with the layup of it and let a salesperson do it. I'm not good at sales. That's why I have an agent, because I would do what I do for free, but I can't tell my boss that because I'm just terrible at negotiating anything. So
I'm the same way, man.
I got to
I'm
a
the
point
same way.
where I had to have somebody that can go in and negotiate for me. And radio is notorious for not where I am now, but for really taking advantage of their talent in
Yeah,
radio. Because
I know of someone who's being taken advantage of right now by a pretty
it's
major station, and
yeah, it's a lot.
it's sad to watch.
And then they lay this on you because they know the industry has suffered. They know that it's taken hits. They know that radio isn't what it used to be. And so they're relying on you as a radio person to be like, I'm just so glad to have a job. I'm just blessed to be here. I'm just happy to have a job. Which you don't need to be like that. Like what I do has value. What I do has purpose, and what I do matters. So why wouldn't you pay me for that? Like I worked for a company that didn't pay for commercial reads that I would do. So I would go and read a commercial about whatever advertiser, let's call it a dog daycare, Jeff Canada's dog daycare center. And they would pocket the money for that.
Yeah.
Jeff Canada's dog daycare center would pay a talent fee for me to read that, but then the station would take that talent fee and pocket it. And they would say, well, this is part of your salary. And I would say, well, no, it's not. It's just not. And then they would say, well, if the guy goes out on the Chicago Blackhawks and scores an extra goal, he doesn't get paid any extra money. And I said, that's completely different.
Actually, yes, they actually have bonuses too. But
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if the same Blackhawks player gets a call from Nike and they say, hey, we want you to wear our skates, we're going to pay you $5,000 a game to wear our skates. The Blackhawks don't go, yoink.
Yeah.
And that's
100%.
that's what the company I was doing. And that's why I left where I was before, because it wasn't fair. And I knew my value and I knew my worth, and I took a leap, and I was going to go and just jump into the nonprofit world when I left Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I have a nonprofit that I run. It's called Hearthead. It's a 501c3. We pay for people's mental health care and therapy directly. We just pay the practitioners right there. That's what all of our donations go towards. So I was just going to jump headfirst into that because this was in 2022 when right after COVID had hit and mental health had a great conversation in about 2020, 2021. We all had to talk about our mental health because we were all forced to deal with ourselves. We couldn't any longer go out and do things in the world. We had to shut down. We were forced to deal with our demons. And I think a lot of people didn't know how to do that. A lot of people didn't know how to deal with that. Suicide rates went up, depression went up, anxiety went up because people didn't know what was happening. There was so much fear and uncertainty in the world. Do I get a vaccine? Do I not? Is it going to hurt me? Is it not? Am I going to get sick? Is my grandparent going to get sick? So much of that. But I think what happened was an overcorrection. I think this happens all the time in
That's
society.
all we do.
It's happened with Me Too. It's happened with
N-
Black Lives Matter and things like that. It's
9/11.
9/11. It's happened with everything. It's happened with mental health too. I feel like it's starting to be an overcorrection with mental health where it used to be, I don't want people to be stigmatized. I don't want you to feel like you can't talk about your emotions, but I don't want you to use it as an excuse all
A
the time.
badge of honor.
That too.
Yeah.
I'm depressed. You proud of that? You
Yep.
shouldn't be proud. You should own it. You should know about it and you should be aware of it and emotionally literate. But people that are like, well, I can't do this because I'm depressed. I can't do this because I'm anxious. I have anxiety. It's like, you need to start dealing with yourself and not use it as an excuse. Like you have to empower yourself as well. So now I got to a point where I was like on a double-edged sword. I'm like, you want people to talk about it. You want them to reduce the stigma. You got to talk about it. That's how you reduce stigmas, by talking. But then you get people that overcorrect. And now I feel like it's starting to get to that point, and now people aren't taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So now we're back
That's
to
my ex
now
to
we're
a
back to where
T.
we are. Now we're back to where we are.
Yeah, that's my ex to a T. It was, that her trauma was a badge of honor as opposed to something she needed to deal with. And it drove a wedge, it sucked the life out of me. Like I was, and that's another big reason why and I took such a huge step back in 2025 is because in 2021, 22, 23 and 24 I she was sucking the life out of me. And I'm trying to help her and I'm trying to get her to get help and she refuses. And so I finally had to just pull the plug on it because for my own sanity, my own happiness, because I was outwardly being more negative now.
Mhm. You got
You
to
know what I
put your
mean?
mask on before you put somebody else's.
Yeah. And now I'm like probably around the happiest I've ever been in my life. I mean, I still have some issues and I'm still working through some things, but yeah, I mean, you have to, we don't deal with things well. That's that at the end of the day, that's the problem. The whole country, the whole society, we just don't deal with things very well. We don't deal with, and so that's why we do the overcorrection. You know what I mean? Because we just can't seem to just handle what needs to be handled.
And they need to be
Like,
handled. At the end of
yes,
the day, like the Me Too, the way that women were treated in the workplace
yes,
overall, absolutely should be treated. Should there be more
100%.
representation of people of color in society and in film and in movies? 100 million percent. And my wife feels the same way. My wife, she was looking at a makeup thing the other day. She was on an Ulta website and she was like, why? She was like, I am looking at shades of lip gloss on a dude and a black woman and an Indian woman, but no white women. She was like, and this must be how those people felt for so many years. But again, it's now an overcorrection because she's like, I understand, but can I still see how something looks on me as well? And it's that
Right.
overcorrection that has happened there. And it's like, you're being inclusive, but now you've also gone so far that you've excluded people as well.
Yeah, I'm taking through Google University right now. I'm taking some digital marketing classes, and the second module, not 15th, 30th, not the second module was DEI, and it's like, dude, like we're marketing, like you gotta like a whole part of marketing is to figure out what your customer base is, and you're going to use profiling to do that. It's the exact opposite of DEI. And but that's Google, they've always been super, that way. But it's just what we do. It's what we've always done. Like
Uh-huh.
just, you go
Profiling
back.
doesn't mean skin. Profiling means where you live, what you
Yeah,
eat, what you drink, who
100%.
you sleep with, all that.
Yeah. what your religion is, like
All that.
everything down the list. And, and to properly market, you've got to figure that out, and you got to profile people. You're not going to market to everyone equally. That's just not, then that's just, that really doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Now, did we need to do something about the, cops and all that stuff? Yeah, we need to do something, but we didn't need to defund the police. We didn't need to make it to where they're some of the least respected people on the planet. Like that's stupid. That's it's just, but it's what we do,
Yeah.
and I guarantee you what's going to happen. You mark my words. We're going to get to the point where streaming is going to be outlawed, and we're going to overcorrect in that as well. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen because it's not sustainable.
No. I wonder when there's going to be a reckoning of copywriting and things like that again, with artwork and things like that, with AI and things that are used as memes on the internet. Because a lot of things you see a meme, that's somebody's artwork, but we share it because it's a funny meme, but somebody made it.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is with like Spotify, for example. I mean, when every year or every 6 months or however long they do it, they come up with the new terms and you have to agree to it. And
as an artist?
Yeah, as an artist and as a user.
Both. Yeah, I know as a user, but I'm assuming as an artist.
As an artist, you do too. And this past year, the new terms of agreements basically says that they can repurpose your music for anything that they want to.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. But here's the deal, man. Most songs on Spotify are independent artists. Most songs on Spotify are independent artists, right? They're not signed to a label. They're doing their own thing, whether it's AI or whatever. Those people, we've never got the support. We've always been the ones. Musicians have always been the ones to get it last. It's funny because you have this circle, and inside that circle is the creator. Right? That's the creator. That's the person who's writing the song, who's recording the song, all the creators that are involved in making this piece of art. They put that art out in the world, and immediately you have all these tentacles coming into that circle and pulling out all the resources that it takes to make more of what they just made. Whether it's a radio promoter or a booking agent or a whatever slimy, you know what I'm talking about, a promoter for a venue, like whatever. They're just a bunch of slimy people. And I'm not saying there's not good people, but there's a bunch of slimy people, but everybody's got their hands in the cookie jar, and we're the last ones to get anything for it, except for maybe some love and respect. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. It's really sad because without us, before AI, without us, that creation wouldn't have been created. So we should be the most important person in that link, but we're not. It seems to me like the person making the music and the person listening to the music are the last two people that are even thought about in the entire industry.
I can tell you as a consumer and someone that listens to music, I think AI music sounds terrible. It just doesn't, there's no emotion behind it. I think it's like AI voices. Like people have told me, they're like, are you worried about AI taking over radio? There was a girl in Spokane, Washington. Her name was Ashley. She had a thing called AI Ashley where they cloned her voice and they had her on multiple stations. But it failed. It didn't work.
Well, it failed now. But this thing is growing exponentially, and every month the videos are hard. It's getting so harder to decipher what's real and what's not real.
Yeah, but you can still tell.
It'll get there.
It's
going to get there.
You think the emotional connection? Oh, God.
No, 100%. It's going to. No, maybe not the emotional connection, but man, people. Again, we've already pulled that plug.
Yeah,
like most people don't have an emotional connection to art. They're not cultured. Most people aren't. Most people wake up, they go to work, they work their ass off all day, they come home, they decompress however they do that, whether it's liquor or weed or movies or video games or porn or whatever it is. They decompress however they decompress, and then they wake up and they do it all again the next day. Most people don't have the time or the freedom to dive into extracurricular things anymore.
Yeah.
And that's another big problem. You know, it's everything's so expensive. You know, the days of people taking vacations to where they really want to go, or that's not happening very much anymore. You know, people are taking vacations to the state park as opposed to going out of, you know, out of the country or whatever. And it's just it's a very difficult time to be alive on this planet right now. It just
Yeah.
is. It's hard because you have to work your ass off if you want any type of anything, you know. And I say this all the time, like, we've devalued content as well. Like, yes, we're making it valuable, but as far as getting paid to put that content out there, like on that, like for instance, on that the video of me telling the crowd to shut the fuck up at Dosey Do, I made $2,800 just on Facebook off that one video, right? That was like 13 million views. 10 years ago, if I had a piece of content get 12 million views, I would be on the Ellen DeGeneres show the next day.
Yeah.
I would have people like you calling me up asking if y'all want to interview me on the radio. Like
Right.
that's just how it would work. Now you get 12 million views on something and it's like there's nothing
Yeah.
there.
Sadly, 12 million views is not that great in this day and age, because there's 50 other videos that have 12 million views or 50 million views or 30 million views that are just burying it and burying it right after it goes viral, after that virality. Virality is temporary. Virality, it
Yeah.
doesn't last.
Yeah.
It's the modern day equivalent of 15 minutes of fame for some people. Not
Yeah.
everybody, but for some people.
They don't, the social media companies no longer reward you for followers
No.
at all.
Rewarded with engagement to keep
You're
people on
right.
their platform.
Exactly. Whereas if they still rewarded us for followers, if I was to get that 12 million views and it jumped up, because I went from 21,000 followers to 53,000 followers, like just off that one video, which is that's huge. But the next video I put out had 300 views. You know what I mean? It's like there's no sustainability in. So yeah, where to me we should be rewarded. If I get a video that hits 12 million views, my next video, they should send that out at least to 100,000 people. You know what I mean? They should, or some sort of way to, or at least just show it to just 53,000 followers. You know what I mean? But that's just not the way it works. So what do? You just keep on rolling down the pipeline, you know?
Keep creating. Everything is content.
Yeah.
Everything is content.
Do you guys have a lot of artists like in-house interviews, or is it mostly on the phone?
Not as of late. Not as of late, no. The bigger
Since
artists.
COVID?
Yeah, not so much since COVID. Um, Part of it's competition, because now you've got to make 2 stops at 2 stations, and do you come to us and not go to the Bull, or do you go to the Bull and not go to us? I think there's some of that involved, and they just decide, I'm just not gonna deal with it. I'm just not gonna do either one. I think some artists do that. Um, but I think also some artists don't see the value in coming to my radio station and doing an interview in person when you could do it on the phone and accomplish the same goal.
See, that's so
Um,
strange to me. Like I hate these remote interviews. Like I want to do
yeah.
in person real
Oh, yeah, me
bad,
too.
but you know, you have to do them. But like, man, I would be in a radio station every morning if I could.
Yeah.
Like every day. I would, yeah, let's go. Cause I enjoy it. I enjoy going in. I enjoy meeting everybody and shaking hands and signing autographs and, you know, doing all the things you do. It's very fun. And I would, I don't understand the pitting 2 stations against each other. That's
Yeah.
weird. That's stupid.
It is dumb,
But
yeah.
people got weird egos. Man, I had a question I was going to ask you, and I just totally blanked on it.
Did it
But it
have
was
to
a
do with
really good
radio?
one.
Did it have to do with mental health? Did it have to do with
No, it was
skydiving?
radio. It was radio. Whatever. I'll text you later, I guess. Well, yeah. So, well, that's kind of what I was trying to get at, man. Like some of my favorite things when I was a kid growing up was to listen to, like, back then it was KIKK or whatever, and they would have somebody come in and actually play a song on the radio, and that was so rad. And some of the smaller stations still do that. I think that's cool.
I'd love to do
Um,
it, but I think, our higher ups view a local artist coming and doing that. Like we did do some of that in during our radiothon. our midday guy Gerardo, he did a whole live stream where he brought in a bunch of local artists and they all performed. Now that wasn't on the air; it was on our YouTube stream, but it was promoted on our social media, and that's kind of how we gave the local artists some love on the air. But they still, I don't know why it's unfamiliar. If I bring you on the air and you play a song, our bosses see that as an opportunity for people to tune out because they don't know who you are. The people that don't know who you are, that don't care, are like, I don't know what the fuck this is. Let's see what the bull's doing. Let's see what else is doing. Let's see what Rod Ryan's doing on the bull. Let's hop over here somewhere else. That's their fear, and that's what I've been told from people above me why we don't do that type of stuff.
But I think
I think it sounds cool. I think it's interesting, and I turn my ears up when I hear a live performance. I'm like, what's this? Who's this guy? What's it about? What's this song about? That's me personally, though. But as we have discussed earlier, people are not. That's not really cultured, but that's.
well,
being,
I think
I'm not sure
I
what.
think they're
what
missing.
would
I
be.
think the higher ups are missing the point. I think the reason people listen to radio stations right now is because of the on-air personality.
Of course.
Because why would someone choose, if they were there for the music, why would someone choose to listen to the radio when they're going to play the same 40 songs and and it's just going to be music? If that's the case, they would listen to Spotify or Apple Music or whatever the case.
I've had that talk with my boss. He's like,
Yeah.
well, that's technically you're in a commercial-free hour at the end there, so we don't want to talk too much because we've given people the perception of commercial-free music. So when you talk, people think it's like, I go,
But you
think
haven't.
that's-
Just because you say we have commercial-free music does not mean that you
No.
pulled us listeners into, you know what I mean? Like
Get it.
the Rula and Ryan show, whatever that's at. I don't even remember where that was at. 90, was that here in town? I
ARBE
can't remember.
104.1. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it used to be on 96.5. I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But like, I remember people would listen to that show because of that show.
No, people
Right.
want to listen to us. People want to listen.
Right.
We do have Second Date Update. People love that so much. It's our number one most mentioned, highest testing segment that we do on our show. So much so that our boss has us doing it now 3 times a day. 3 times a day. We're
Yeah.
calling somebody who's gone on a date that's gotten ghosted. We call the other person. We find out why they ghosted them. It's always something fucking crazy and twisted and bizarre and weird and unhinged. And I don't understand how it still happens, but it makes me very happy to be in a relationship because the dating world is toxic and terrible out there. So I'm happy to be very much in a
Dude.
committed relationship 15 years now.
It's
I
insane.
don't have to deal with it anymore. I'm sure. I hear
Yeah,
about
I
it.
don't deal with it either. I actually got back with my youngest kid's mom
for
after
you.
6 year.
How old's your kid, by the way? How old's your child?
He's 15. Just turned 15.
That's just your only
So-
one kid?
No, I have 2. I have a 26-year-old and a 15-year-old.
You have a 26-year-old?
Yeah, the 26-year-old is the one that works at Do-Si-Do.
You don't look old enough to have a 26-year-old. I'm honest with you. I don't.
Yeah,
And
that's what
13, I
most people
believe.
say.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll be 47 years old next week. The 17th, so 2 weeks.
Nice. Happy
Yeah.
early birthday. I just turned 40.
Thanks, man.
I'm right on
Yeah.
your toes.
Yeah. Yeah, most people say I don't look my age. Especially now with the shorter beard, they say that I look a lot younger. I don't know. You know what? I don't really care. I've never really cared so much about my appearance or any of that kind of shit. You know,
I do like
Pretty.
the longer beard though. It's a good look on you. I'm jealous of a guy that can grow a long beard because this is it. This is a month of a lawn in distress. This is as long as my facial hair will grow. That's it. No longer.
This last night was pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
So
Some
it's
dudes-
like,
The facial hair just like
Yeah.
Sam Allen in the Santa Claus. It's right out.
yeah, you know, the beard is one of those things where it was one of those things where sometimes I looked at it and I was like, man, that beard is rad. Jeff, you look good. And then sometimes I look, I was like, that looks ratty as shit. What are you
You look
doing?
like a street person. What are you doing?
Yeah. But, you know, as an artist, you know, that is one thing. As an artist, I think you should look like an artist. You know what I mean? I think you should play the part all the way through. And you know,
Be
I
true to
can't grow
yourself
my
too.
hair out long because it doesn't work, but my beard, I'm late. I've had a beard my whole life. Like, I'm lazy. I don't want to shave. So, and I don't itch when it gets longer, like a lot of guys complain. Mine never bothers me. And I don't put a lot of stuff in it. I literally wash my hair with my head. I don't have hair, but my head with Head and Shoulders, and I wash my beard with Head and Shoulders. I get out and I just go about my day. I just naturally have a beautiful beard when it's there. I don't know.
God bless you with great facial hair. But it is.
He had to bless me with something. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? All right, man. Well, if there's anything else you want to talk about, I can talk all night. This is my favorite thing to do.
I could too. I'd love to come back. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. What I want to do is next time, because that's the reason I'm doing these remotes, so I can do them a little shorter. Because my last ones were like 3.5 hours long, and they were all in person. Because I want to do them a little more often. There's not quite as much editing with this version as the way I was doing it before, so I can have guests on a lot more. And it's like getting to know your guest the first time, and then next time you're really diving into like the cool stuff. You said how long you been married?
15 years together for 17. No kids. Second marriage for both of us. Yeah, no kids. Neither one of us want any kids. It's hard to find someone that doesn't want kids.
Yeah, my wife did not want kids until she did.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, all right. Then we had him. I was like, oh, I love this. I love being a dad.
And people that have kids are great. People that love kids. Some people are built to be dads and moms. That's just that alarm, that bell never went off in me and never went off in my wife. And when we first started dating, I was like, we both talk about how we'd been divorced. We're like, you want to get married again? We're like, yeah, probably someday. Kids? No, really. Because it's hard to find a woman that doesn't have that maternal instinct, that wants to have kids, that wants to have 3 or 4. And she was saying it was harder to find a guy. And she was like, every guy that I ever dated is like, I can't wait to have kids. I want to have at least 2 or 3 kids. And I was like, no, a dog. And that was it.
Yeah. I tell my kids all the time, like, I wouldn't trade them for anything. I just would not. They're super important to me. But if I had it to do all over again, I would not have had children. Like, it's just that, it's and they, they're cool enough to understand the difference in me saying that. Luckily I have 2 just wonderful, very level-headed children, very independent, great kids, man. Like, I couldn't wish for anything better on that end. Now, one of them's only 15, so he's got plenty of time to fuck that up.
Sure.
And, and the oldest one, we thought he was going to be a loser, but he ended up being pretty, he was pretty dumb in school, but he ended up being a really good kid, man. He's very independent, never asked me for anything, fixes his car when it breaks down without asking, he's just.
But you could also do all the right things and hit it out of the park as a parent and still have a kid grow up to be just a complete turd basket,
100%.
I've seen some great parents that still have just turd kids because people are just assholes sometimes.
Yeah, well,
they're products of their environments. So they're not around their parents. They're around other people that are terrible, and they just end up growing up to be like.
That's that whole nature versus nurture thing, and then the brain and chemicals and all that shit. Like, if I had a pretty rough childhood, and so most people go one of 2 ways when they have a childhood like that. They either repeat the cycle or they go completely the opposite direction. I think that's what I did. I think I went completely the opposite direction. And so, yeah, man, I would say out of everything in my life, the most thing I'm proud of is my kiddos.
It's good. I'm happy for you. And I'm happy for people that are very happy with their kids, that are excited to be parents and love raising their kids. Like Erica on our show, she's got 10 kids. Like, she asks people for their kids. She's like, I love kids. She was a mom when she was 17. Her oldest daughter is 30. And I'm like, I don't know how she does it, but she loves it. Caitlin on the show, she's got 2 kids now. She never thought she'd be a mom. She's got 2 boys. She loves it. They're great moms. And I love watching and living vicariously through them. And my wife and I, we say we're down with OPC, other people's children. So we'll hang out with your kid. We'll give him a Red Bull. We'll teach him some dirty words, and we'll send him back to your house, and we can return.
I know what I remember what I was going to ask. It just popped up. Sorry to cut you off. I just remembered.
Do it.
So you're on the radio from 6 to 10.
Yes, sir.
So that's a 4-hour slot.
Yeah.
Right. And that's 5 days a week. Because then they have something programming on Saturday for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. Well, we do Saturday, Sunday programming, but it's voice tracked.
Gotcha. Okay. So what does your day look like? Kind of walk. What does your day look like getting ready for the show, and how long are you at the station after the show? Or is it you go in for 4 hours, you sit down, you rock, and then you bolt?
I'm not a do my four and hit the door. Never been like that. There's too much that goes into it. Like we've planned our show for tomorrow. We usually try to plan our show at least a day in advance. So my day, it usually starts, my alarm goes off around 3:15, 3:30 in the morning. I usually get up I like to get my brain moving in the morning. I can't just roll out of bed, roll in and just start talking. I need to get it going. I feel like my brain's like an engine and I can't just cold start it in the morning. So getting up at 3:15, 3:30 allows me to get up, kind of go through my phone, take my morning dump, take a shower, kind of get ready and kind of get the crusties out of my eye. In the station around 4:15 or so, making sure we haven't missed anything from the night before that came up, going through the final bits of the show, kind of combing through what we're going to talk about. Do we need any sounds? Can anything enhance the show? Can it make it better? Show's on until about 10 o'clock. Once the show's over at 10, we usually have a meeting or something afterwards until 11 or 12. And then usually my day ends at the station around 11 or 12, but then my brain is always on, always thinking about what can we be talking about? How can I turn this into content? How can I take the Rockets game last night where the clock went out? I was like, how can I turn this into content on the air? So this morning we talked about, when did things just totally go sideways at your job, and how did you improvise to make it happen? So it's finding ways to take local things that people are talking about in Houston and spinning it so that it's something that everybody can be included in talking about. Like, not everybody was at the Rockets game, but everybody's had some shit go wrong at work. So
Yeah.
that's a conversation that everybody can relate to. So that's my day, is just looking through the Chronicle feed, KHOU, KPRC, TMZ, Yahoo News, Facebook, Twitter, X, or whatever they call it now, just constantly combing through content. I feel like I'm scrolling constantly, and I am, but I'm also kind of half-ass looking for things as well. Like, oh, this could be funny. What can we
Yeah,
do?
you're curating.
Oh, this could be something cool. Oh, this
Yeah.
might be fun. And then we have a group chat where we talk to each other and, hey, this is funny. Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman divorced after 19 years. Just went through today. So I was like, oh, it's something to talk about tomorrow. Find a way to shove that into content. So kind of always creating. I'm always on. I can't turn it off. It's hard. Really
Yeah.
hard.
Do you have a producer, or do one of y'all do everything?
We do, yeah. We've got a producer. He's kind of combs through our audio and make sure he gets our podcast up and posts our second date updates and gets that out online for us and takes care of that stuff behind the scenes so that we can focus on creating and making the content, and he can just kind of pull it and put it where it needs to go.
But he's the one pushing faders and all that stuff while you are talking and all that stuff.
No, I run the board.
Oh, okay,
I'm
gotcha.
driving the ship.
Gotcha.
in the
That's what I
morning.
was wondering, because I've
either-
sat there and watched Nick do it over at the Bull, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's insane. I mean, it's
It's
probably
wild.
not. It's like when people look at a sound mixer and they see all those, and it's like, no, if you just break it down to one channel,
Exactly.
it's
Like this whole board, we really only use 5 or 6 of these. Like,
yeah.
maybe the other ones if I want to, but and that's kind of the cornerstone of every radio personality. I mean, Caitlin could do it. She did it for years. Caitlin could step into where I'm doing, and she could do the same thing. It's just kind of more of a comfort thing for us in the moment, and it worked out that way. And I think when you're not pushing the buttons, you can kind of focus a little bit more on what you're going to say and react to things on the air.
That's
Whereas
what I was
that-
wondering.
Whereas I have to worry about, where are we at on time wise? Are we going to get the commercials on time? When is second date update coming? Are we going to hit that on time? Do we have everything we need? My brain's always going 100
Yeah.
miles an hour. So
So you're
all
pretty
have a-
much producing the show within the show.
yeah, within the show, yeah.
Well, cool. That's really cool, because it's pretty impressive to watch. You know,
Yeah. It's
I'm-
fun to do, man. It's
Yeah.
I anytime I get frustrated with what I'm doing or frustrated with something at work, I think back to 13-year-old me calling the radio stations asking during a Silverchair song what the DJ is doing and how can I come and hang out with them. And I think about how that kid would have killed to be on the radio, and how that kid used to call and just hearing his voice going, "Will you play Green Day Basket Case?" Sure, it's coming up now on Q101.
Yeah.
That was a call of me, and I'm like, dude, that was me. I was on the radio. That was me. Love that. And if that little kid heard me complaining about what I'm doing right now, that little kid would kick me in the junk. He'd be like, dude, shut up. You were doing what you've always wanted to do. You're not digging ditches. You're not doing, life Yeah, I'm not a first responder. I'm not in the military. I respect the hell out of people that do that. I could never do it. I
Yeah.
just can't. But I do want to help entertain those people and help those people have an escape from their mundane, their everyday lives when they're stuck in the horrible Houston traffic. I want them to know that they can turn on our show. They can hear somebody have a disastrous day. They can hear us talk about whatever we have going on in our lives and relate to it somehow, make a connection with people. And I think I've done a pretty okay job of that so far in Houston. 3 years now so far, almost going on to 4. So it's a big city. It's my first time in a major market. It's harder to make a connection in such a big city, like Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You're kind of a big fish in a small pond. But here it's kind of like now the pond is so much bigger and there's a lot more fish in here. So you got to do a lot more splashing to make some noise. But I feel
Yeah, I know everybody. I feel like
yeah.
I know everybody in this damn town. I'm gonna listen in the morning, just because I mean, at least I have to be there at 8. So from 7 to 8, I'll listen. I'll check it out. I have not listened to y'all's radio show. I'm not gonna lie. I have not.
God.
No, I don't. I try to avoid the radio like the plague. I really
Right.
do.
Right.
But I'm gonna listen in the morning. I think it'd be cool.
All
Check
right.
it out. Are you gonna be at the cook-off? Cool. I'll be down there. I just booked 2 shows on Friday and Saturday, so I'm going to come down
You
there. I'll
playing
be
a
hanging
tent?
out.
Playing somebody's tent?
Yeah, I'm not sure of all the details. I'll let you know as soon as I know them.
Good. Very
But I'll
good.
come hang. I'll come hang out.
We've got one too. I don't know what's happening at our tent. I never know. They just tell me to show up, but we have our own barbecue. We have our own tent, and then we do. Excuse me.
Nice.
21 days of rodeo, man. We're there almost every day. It's intense.
Yeah, I went last year. I did the cook-off for 2 days, and then I went to Zach Top with
Great
the
show.
family. What's funny is I went with Zach Top with my ex-wife, who I'm now with, and my kid. Just as like she just asked if I wanted to go, so I went. We've always been like really good friends, and then I went on a date to see Warren Zeiders, douche canoe times a million.
Thank you. Guy's a dick.
Dude, I was just like seeing Zach Top, and then the next week seeing him, and the difference in show and different, and it was like, this is terrible, but didn't matter. Whatever. I dated that girl for a few weeks, and then it was just, whatever. It just didn't work out, but I'm glad. And that was it. So really, between the time I broke up with Candace and got back with Brooke, like, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 months ago, I didn't even go back other than that one girl. Just didn't even, that's what I was going to tell you earlier when we were talking about dating. Like that. No, I don't
blame Warren Zeiders. I'm glad that he ruined that for you. So now you're
Yes.
in a better
Yeah.
place. Good.
Yeah, that guy. Terrible. All right, buddy. I'm gonna let you get out of here, man. We've been going an hour and a half. I would definitely like to get you back on.
Yeah. Maybe plan May Mental Health Month. It's May's Mental Health Month. I don't know if you want to do something around then.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Have a little deep around that.
If you get a chance, go to YouTube and check out that video for Monsters,
Okay.
and then
Monsters?
shoot me. It's called Monsters.
Okay.
I released it in 2020. Go check out that video and watch it all the way to the end, and then shoot me a text and let me know what you think about it.
Okay, I'm going to listen to your
Please.
cover of Stephen Mary 3 as well.
Yeah,
On
that one's out
Spotify.
there too. I did a full band version of it. I think I kind of took liberties my own way, but also really paid homage to the original at the same time.
Good.
It's a lot of people's favorite song that I do, so it's cool.
Good.
All right, remember, don't hop off here until we do, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit stop.
All right, man.
Deuces.